This radio program is PG-13. Parents strongly caution some material may be inappropriate for children under the age of 13.
The following program is sponsored by Michael W. Smith. The views expressed on the following program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership.
Phoenix. Brother Mike, back on the radio. Welcome to HardcoreChristianity.com. Thanks for tuning into the program. Today's Bible study, American Insanity in Debt. Today on Hardcore. Happy New Year. 2023 is going to be a big year for you, and it's going to be a big year for me, but a bad year for America. Find out this week. All my programs are on America. This week on Hardcore. Call somebody and tell them the radio program's on, would you? Thanks for helping the ministry again. Thank you for all your donations last year. Thank you for going to the PayPal button and sending them in. It's been fantastic. We paid 100% of our bills on time or early last year, thanks to you. As you know, I don't take a salary in the ministry. I donate my salary 100% to the Lord. And because I do that, and because you've helped us, we have never had a problem with our finances, not one time. It's been fantastic. Thank you for your kindness. Please remember, we have 2 live Zoom deliverance services every week, Tuesday and Wednesday nights at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Send me an email, Mike at hardcorechristianity.com. I'll send you the link and the password. Please remember, we have 2 live services at the Deliverance Center on 15th Avenue, just south of Osborne Road, Thursday and Friday nights at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. Preaching, teaching, healing, and deliverance at both services. The lawsuits are in and we won. We are winning. The religious exemptions have been found by the courts to be legitimate. Employers are being required to rehire people they fired with back pay and full seniority. If you need a religious exemption for the next coronavirus, and it's already started. I saw it on the news today. If you need a religious exemption for the vaccine, send me an email, Mike at hardcorechristianity.com. I'll mail it out to you right away. Please remember, I have a deliverance training seminar once a month, the 4th Saturday of every month at the Deliverance Center at noon. Our children's deliverance and healing services is March. Our women's seminar is in February. And my Sunday morning podcast is at 9 o'clock in the morning on Twitch TV or on my Facebook page, Michael W. Smith. This country's in debt, folks. Our dollar bill is the greatest instrument of finance in the history of the world. It's the world's reserve currency. But China and Russia and a few other countries are trying to get us taken off the reserve currency or have it bifurcated so that there will be more than one reserve currency. If that happens, America will instantly go into a poverty nation. If that happens, that is the end of the road for America. That is exactly what Satan is planning. He's going to take us off as the world's reserve currency. 1 Timothy chapter 6. For the love of money is the root of all evil, Greek word kakos, bad things. For the love of money is the root of all bad things, which while some have coveted after, Greek word planexia, it means to put your passions on money or material things, to be passionate about them. While some have coveted after, Paul said, they have erred from the faith, and they've pierced themselves through with many sorrows. Why is that? Well, isn't it obvious? Look at the unbelievable level of sorrow having money and the world's reserve currency has caused the United States of America. It's unbelievable. There was a prophecy in Hosea, and I'm not saying it applies directly to us, but it sure does sound like it. I thought I would read it to you. Hosea chapter 4. The great prophet said, quote, hear the word of the Lord, children of Israel. For the Lord has a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there's no truth, no mercy, no knowledge of God in the land. And by swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, they break out. And blood touches blood. Therefore shall the land mourn, and everyone that dwells in the land shall languish with the beasts of the field and with the fowls of the heaven. Yes, the fish of the sea shall be taken away. There's very few verses in the Bible that kind of sound like where America's heading. It sounds like the condition that America's in, blood touching blood, the murders, the killings are at astronomical highs. The crime is at record highs. It's amazing how much lying is going on. Have you ever seen a politician? I mean, they lie constantly. Everything they do is a lie. It's stealing. The prophet mentions stealing here. Can you believe stealing? Stealing is at record levels. Let me give you an example. The government is the biggest thief of all. Do you remember any of these things that came out during the pandemic? The Families First Response Act, $192 billion. The Payment Protection Program, $484 billion. The Consolidated Appropriations Act, $900 billion. The American Rescue Plan, $1.9 trillion. The CARES Act, $2.2 trillion. How about unemployment assistance? Remember that? They extended the unemployment assistance. That's interesting. You know how much of that money was literally stolen through fraud? $400 billion. Can you imagine that? The American Rescue Plan. Totally amazing. You know they sent $2 million to one address? In the state of Arizona, did you know that our state lost 30% of that money to fraud? It was stolen by thieves. They sent millions of dollars to Palm Beach, Florida. You know what they used the money for? They built a new golf course. They already had 160 of them. A watchdog group called Feeding Our Future was monitoring where all the money was going to nonprofit organizations. $65 million of that money was stolen by fake nonprofit organizations. I've been contacted by 6 or 7 people on Facebook telling me if I had heard about the new plan where I could get government money for my employees at the Arizona Deliverance Center. I knew what that was. That was people scamming this system, and that they were fake Facebook accounts. They were cloning my friends and sending me this opportunity to get $150,000 or something for my employees. All I had to do was contact this other person on Facebook. It's all over Facebook. It's unbelievable. The Payment Protection Plan, you know what that was for? Remember that? That was supposed to go for people that were being laid off, people that were having their hours cut because of COVID, people that were in quarantine. Did you know that they sent millions and millions of dollars of that money out to farms all across the United States? You know what the problem was? They were fake farms. They weren't real. They sent out, are you sitting down? I think you are. You're in your car, right? Okay, hold on the steering wheel for a minute. $1.4 billion was sent out to people who were already dead. Multimillionaires, people who are filthy rich, like Kanye West and Tom Brady, got millions of dollars from the PPP. I mean, Broadway plays like West Side Story and Harry Potter, Broadway plays got $10 million a piece of your tax dollars. Let's go out to Los Angeles, shall we? Let's go out to California, the land of fruit and nuts. Isn't it something out there? Man, I used to love California. I'm from Anaheim. I loved Anaheim. Back in the 70s, you would not have believed Anaheim, California was the most beautiful place in the world. That's where I grew up. It was fantastic, literally fantastic. Now, Los Angeles looks like a third world country. Los Angeles issued a bond program to fix the homeless problem in L.A. They coughed up $1.2 billion of taxpayer money to build out units to house the homeless. So the theory was, let's go in and buy this gigantic apartment complex, or let's build a gigantic apartment complex, and we'll start stuffing homeless people in it. Well, the original cost was $350,000 per unit. Over the next 24 months, the cost per unit went up to $837,000. That's per one-bedroom apartment. To build a one-bedroom apartment, $837,000 is what it costs now. The New York Times, which is a satanically driven newspaper, did an article on the bond program, and they did an article on research on the PPP program. They said that only 1/4 of all the money that was sent out went to people who had lost their jobs. The rest of it was siphoned off. Our national debt is over $31 trillion. There's only 334 million people living in the United States, plus 20 or 30 million undocumented people who are living here. Okay, so let's say it's 360. There's only 127 million people working and paying taxes. You believe that? In future liabilities, the United States owes $22 trillion in Social Security benefits and $35 trillion in Medicare benefits. That's me. I'm an old person. I'm on Social Security. Folks, the love of money is the root of all bad things. And America, when we lose the reserve currency status in this world, it will be over. We will not be able to borrow money anymore from China and India and Japan. We will not be able to pay the national debt. The interest on the national debt is now, I believe, 40% of all the tax money we generate. Friend, the Antichrist is around the corner.
The views expressed on this program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership. This program was sponsored by Michael W. Smith.